Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And welcome back to the channel that takes power gaming to the next level. Today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we're talking about the spell Resurrection. We're giving this spell a C+. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, so my first impression of Resurrection is I will probably be casting Raise Dead if I need to, and not this spell. So let's go over it real quick. It's a 7th-level spell that is usable by bards and clerics. It has a casting time of 1 hour, range of touch, verbal, somatic, and material components, which the material component is a diamond worth at least 1,000 gold pieces. So a lot of the verbiage in this spell is almost exactly the same as Raise Dead, but we're going to go over a few of the differences. So you touch a creature that has been dead for no more than a century, so 100 years, didn't die of old age, and that isn't undead. So let's look at Raise Dead and compare that. You return a dead creature to life provided it has not been dead longer than 10 days, okay? If the soul is free and willing, the target returns to life with all of its hit points, whereas Raise Dead brings it back with only 1 hit point. Now, I do want to point out that the soul must be free and willing to come back. That's an important distinction. And also, that could be an adventure idea for you DMs out there. A big Dungeon Master idea. You know, there could be some kind of ritual that requires to be done, or something that has to be done, or some quest that has to be done to get the soul to come back, because maybe it is willing but it's not free. That is, it's trapped somewhere. We've seen this a lot in Critical Role, where they've had to go on adventures to bring characters back to life. So the spell neutralizes any poisons and cures normal diseases afflicting the creature when it dies. I believe that Raise Dead does that. Also neutralizes any poison and cures non-magical diseases. Yes. It does not, however, remove magical diseases, curses, and the like. And if such effects aren't removed prior to casting the spell, they afflict the target on return to life. Same thing here. And the spell cannot return an undead creature to life. They said it there, and they say it up here as well. The spell closes all mortal wounds and restores any missing body parts. Raise Dead does not do that. So the spell closes all mortal wounds, but does not restore body parts. So if you bring them up and they're missing an arm, they're still going to be missing an arm. Then we got the coming back from the dead ordeal with the -4 penalty to attack rolls, saving throws, ability checks, which disappears after each long rest. Same thing here. However, Resurrection has this other little rider on it that says, casting this spell to restore life to a creature that has been dead for 1 year or longer taxes you until you finish a long rest. You cannot cast spells again and have disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. Okay, so let's go over the pros and cons of this spell. Pros I see are you can raise something from the dead that has been dead for up to 100 years. More than likely, you're going to use this if they've been dead up to a year. And they cannot have died from old age. It neutralizes poisons and cures diseases, but those are non-magical in nature. And then it restores missing body parts. So I think that's, and it brings the subject back with all hit points versus 1 hit point. So the cons to this, it's a 1,000 gold piece diamond, and compared to Raise Dead, that's a 500 gold piece diamond. Okay. Another con is an hour casting time. They both have an hour casting time. It does not get rid of magical diseases or magical curses. There's the -4 penalty to attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. And then there's the more than 1 year dead clause at the end that you have to address. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, if I have a choice between Resurrection and Raise Dead. I'm going to use Raise Dead because it's cheaper. That's really the big one. It's cheaper and it's a lower level spell slot that I don't have to worry about. And really the big one is the 500 gold piece diamond savings. You're only using a 500 gold piece of diamond versus 1,000 gold piece diamond. More than likely, as a player, I'm coming at this from the perspective of a player. As a player who is bringing back another player to life, chances are you're not going to let a player that's at the table be dead for a year or longer. More than likely, you're going to get them out, and you're going to get them brought back to life within 10 days. So Raise Dead obviously is the better spell out of the two because of that. Now, you're only bringing them back with 1 hit point, so you got to be prepared to deal with that. The great advantage to Resurrection, and we talked about this with the Regenerate spell, is that if you or your DM are playing with rules where severed limbs come into effect, or they died because their head was removed, etc., then obviously Raise Dead is not going to do anything, or it's going to bring them back to life, but then you're going to need a regeneration spell afterwards. But regeneration's okay because it doesn't require any material component. There's no cost to it. With Resurrection, you do everything. They come back with 100% of their hit points, and then you can bring back any missing limbs. But if you're not playing with the severed limbs rule, then there really is no point. Other than, maybe this is what you got, and that's what you got. Now, it is usable by bards and clerics. Raise Dead is also usable by bards, clerics, paladins, life domain clerics, grave domain clerics, and alchemist artificers. So there are a lot more classes that also can use Raise Dead versus Resurrection. And both of these spells use this willing and at liberty to. They use different wording, but it's willing and at liberty to rejoin the body, whereas Resurrection says free, which means at liberty, and willing. And again, like I said, this can be used in a variety of ways, but particularly by a DM to limit Raise Dead, to make Raise Dead or Resurrection or bringing something back to life actually mean something, by having some kind of ritual to convince the soul to come back, or to go on a quest to bring the soul back because the soul is not free to come back. All right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.